Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. It has been a long time since I filmed the review. It's been a while, but here we are, finally got some time, and we're taking a look at the Kershaw Capsule. What a weird little knife, right? This is a funky knife. So, let's go ahead and get started with our blade length measurements. Sharpened edge is coming in here a little bit under 2 inches. If we measure the entire blade, it's a 2-inch blade. So, very small knife. This is actually probably a pretty legal-friendly knife. Not a lawyer. Don't take my advice on that, but from what I know about knife laws around the world, this seems like it would be legal in a good number of places. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. Here's our Rat 2. And where's the Rat 1? Like I said, it's been a while since I've done a review. I should have located all this before I sat down. There it is. And here's our Rat 1. So yeah, it's a tiny knife. It's a little guy by pretty much every metric. All right, let's fold these up. Next, let's go ahead and bring out our Civivis, starting us off with the Elementum, or in this case, the Elementum 2. And again, what were you expecting? It's a tiny knife. Let's get our Praxis. I bet you guys can hear me like scrambling around out here. There's our Praxis. Yeah, it's a tiny knife. And let's go ahead and compare it against our USA made comparisons, which are right here. There's the PM2. Here's the Bug Out. And let's go ahead and compare against some knives that are a little closer in size. Here is the Baby Banter. And here is the CJRB Mica. And now let's compare it against Kershaw or two. I think the only Kershaw I have laying around right now is the Bare Knuckle, which, by the way, I think Kershaw should re-release the Bare Knuckle with Magna Cut. I think that'd be... Oh, actually, you know what? I have this Kershaw lying right here. This is actually a good comparison. This is the Kershaw Shuffle. Yeah, there we go. All right, good deal. I completely forgot that I had that knife lying around at all. Cool. All right, we're going to call it quits on size comparisons right there. What are we looking at for materials? Our blade is 8CR13 MOV. As you can see right there, this is a Yin's Anzo design, which is interesting. The chassis of the knife is steel, but we have plastic scales over it, and then this button is aluminum. So, there we go. Let's go do some cutting. Hey guys, you ready to do some review cutting? I sure am. This is the first review cutting I've done since January. Yeah, and it's March now. I've been busy. We might lose sunlight here in a little bit. Let's come over here. We're by the river again. Sun is about to set, or at least sink behind the Robledos, and we won't be able to, see it anymore, because that's how the sun setting works. But let's go ahead and try and get this review cutting done. Today we're doing review cutting for the Kershaw Capsule, which you knew because you're watching the review for this. Ding-a-ling. So this is a goofy knife. Let's go ahead and start with the action, because that's probably the goofiest part of this knife. It is an OTF, but it's manual. So, you push this little button, and that deploys the blade and retracts it. You have to, follow it the entire length of the track, which is weird. It is pretty smooth. Let's see if I can, flick it out fast. Not really. So, I mean, legal friendly, I guess. Also, it's very, very short. So the action is interesting. For what it is, I think it's good. It's pretty smooth. It's consistent, feels all right. Ergonomics. So again, like, I can actually, this knife is a 3-finger knife for me. Kind of 4-finger if you count that little thing there, but get it back here, and actually, it's locked in. Like, it's just a rectangle. I wouldn't say this knife is, like, comfortable, but it's not necessarily uncomfortable. They do have jimping up here for some reason. I guess, you know what? I guess you can kind of use that. I never did while I was carrying this, but there it is. The ergonomics are, they are what they are, right? Let's talk about carry. So there's the pocket clip. It is tip down carry, technically. The clip actually works okay. This knife is small enough that you can use it as a 5th pocket carry. So there you go. The clip is actually fine. What's not cool though is while I was carrying this knife, a couple of times I'd have it in the 5th pocket, and this button would like push the blade out while it was in my pocket, and that's not cool. It's not cool at all. So carry is, it's a very small size. The clip works great, but if you're going to be stabbing yourself in the leg, it's kind of no good. So let's go ahead and cut some stuff. So we have a dagger ground blade here. It's only sharp on one side of 8CR steel. So let's give this a whirl. We know we're in for some of the best performance ever, right? So the blade itself is pretty thin, which helps with the cutting, but it's a little bit difficult to control, and because it's so short, I find it very easy to come out of a cut. However, you know, technically, it's not the worst slicer ever. Because the blade is so short, you can actually do decent utility cuts with it. So, honestly, as far as like just regular EDC goes, day to day, making small cuts, opening packages, it's going to work just fine. All right, let's do our rope pull. Oh, hey, we made it. A little bit awkward there. The leverage felt a little bit weird, but we got her done. Let's do some pushes. 1, okay, wow. 2, 3. Wow, that did really well. Something happened that we're going to talk about. The blade is pretty robust, so it did crunch through the rope pretty darn nicely. So I got to say, I can't knock it on that. It actually handled that rope really well. But, like, can you see that the blade is now canted upwards at a weird angle? Oh, you know what? I guess that doesn't matter because it still works. I felt a little crunch and then the blade was weird, but it still functions just fine. So there we go. Awesome. Also, I would not say this is necessarily a lock. But, I mean, were you really expecting it to be? And let's go ahead and do some pool noodle cuts. This is probably not going to go great because the blade is so short, but we'll just do one, see how it feels. Okay, so honestly, it didn't feel great compared to other knives, but as far as what this is goes, it did all right. Like, I could definitely feel this short grind kind of snagging. I could definitely feel when we were hitting that. You can see here we did get a pretty uneven cut, but that's because I had to kind of saw my way through because the blade was so short. Overall, not great, but honestly, pretty good for what this is. So, yeah, I mean, the performance is not going to blow you away compared to, you know, a regular pocket knife, but it does all right, I think. The real test is going to be how it holds up to my board throw. I kind of don't think it will, but let's see what happens. Oh, I gotta say my line. Let's get back to the table. This is not a throwing knife, confirmed. Let's see if I can, let's get back to the table. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and talk about what I'm liking and not liking about this really, really weird knife. Number one, the weirdness of it is something that I really like. This is kind of unique. There are quite a few knives out there nowadays that are kind of like this. Like I know there's one from Boker. I guess not quite a few, but they do exist. It is unique. It's a little weird, and I think that's cool. I'm always interested in stuff that's different and unique. Next thing, the ergonomics are actually pretty good for a knife of this size and profile. I'm kind of impressed with that. And the blade actually isn't terrible for just your day-to-day EDC tasks. This knife is going to be a fine cutter, right? It's not going to be the best, but it's going to get some jobs done, right? In addition, the pocket clip is nice. We'll come back to carry in a little bit. And yeah, the stonewashing on the blade is cool. The color combo is kind of cool. And yeah, it's a neat idea. I guess this is also a pretty legal-friendly knife. The size is really, really small, and I'm not sure if this would count as a locking knife or a non-locking knife. I mean, it doesn't really lock, but maybe it locks more. I don't know if this would be considered a locking knife or not. It's kind of weird. I guess, leave it up to your own jurisdiction. I mean, I don't know. But there it is. It's a small knife. It's compact. It's unique. It might be something that you're interested in carrying. So let's go ahead and get on to my dislikes. My number one dislike is disassembling this thing is a pain, and we're going to play some clips of that. Hey guys, welcome to the disassembly of the Kershaw Capsule. This should be interesting. This is the first time I've sat down and filmed a video at my desk in over a month. It's been a long, long time, and everything is a mess. Maps and samples just everywhere. But that's okay. I've just been really, really busy lately. Got some really neat rocks on the table right now, actually. That super micaceous chunk of pegmatite. Some pretty nice big old pieces of fluorite. Got some good stuff, but that's not what this is about today. Today we're taking this little doodad apart. So this is a Kershaw Capsule, and I noticed that the little button here, focus up camera, please. Too much crap in the background. Is like poking up a little bit more than it was when I first got this thing. You can see the spring under there. And I was like, okay, that's a little bit interesting. That seems like it's coming loose. What does this mean? I went and found a review on Blade HQ that someone had left saying that, excuse me, their Kershaw Capsule had developed a thing where the button fell off and they couldn't reattach it. So I figured I'm having the same issue. Let's see if we can go ahead and fix it. So I think we just need to unscrew these little screws along the edges, and it should come apart. I'm not sure exactly what to expect under here. I think it's just going to be the blade and maybe a little separate attachment on the base of the blade that helps it ride along like a rail on the inside. We'll see. I don't think it should be super complex, but I'm also kind of bracing myself for the worst. All right, let's go ahead. Are those T6s? They are. Get out of there, you. Yeah, we can use it like this. I accidentally dropped my T6 in my little driver without the extender. It still pokes out enough to use, and I'm not going to fight with it right now. All right, let's get started. So I'm not sure when you guys will be seeing this video. I'm assuming I'm going to put this in with a review for this little tool. I'm recording this late November. We're getting close to Thanksgiving right now. I probably won't be posting this review until like, geez, maybe February 2024, because I've got other knives that I'm working on reviewing that I want to get the reviews out for before this. Oh, is that free spinning? Son of a gun. Including the Neutron 2. I want to get that review done pretty quick. Sencut Waxahachie. Devo Growler V2. Yeah, I just got a lot of knives I want to get reviewed before the year is over. I have not... I think I'm about ready for most of those reviews, but I just haven't had time to sit down and film them. Actually, the Neutron might need a little more pocket time. Maybe not. Okay, yeah. So that's free spinning. That's no bueno. Okay, there we go. We got it this time. Just had to put that other screw in super tight. Okay, so far, so good. Nothing terrible. Man, I hate this little driver. It's so unwieldy. Need to get myself a new driver. Make a little bit of an upgrade one of these days. Oh, come on, you. This little screw feels like it's a little stripped out. And it's free spinning. Son of a gun. Come on, get out, you. Alright, that's not gonna work. Let's see if I can make something else work. Let's grab another driver. Pause the video real quick. Wish I had a vise right now, but I do not have one with me. You know what? Let's just try. Let's see if I can just... No. Let's tighten this up real quick. Yeah, that's not working. All right. I'm going to have to do the old, brace it on one side. Okay. So yeah, obviously, everything you're seeing right now is a big negative for this knife. Will it unscrew from the other side? Guess I can just take all the screws out the back. Nope. Yeah, and this little screw here is... Focus up. Focus up, please. The lighting is not real great in here right now. This screw is kind of stripped up a little bit. So we're going to pause the video and I'm going to fight with that, and let's see if I can win. Alright, so I got tired of fighting with that piece of crap. Let's see if I can just lift this and rotate it around that screw. Oh, that feels like that's not going to work. Okay, but here we're kind of coming apart. Okay. So that happened. Yeah, we're gonna get that sucker out. Okay. All right. Round 2, or is this more like round 4, 5 at this point? I've lost track. All right, guys, I gave up. I just straight up quit. I stopped recording, paused. I stopped recording, went and started watching a Metal Complex video while I started fighting with this thing. Couldn't get these screws apart. Maybe if I dunk it in a hot water bath, I'll be able to focus camera. I'll be able to jiggle Loctite loose or something. It doesn't really feel like a Loctite problem though. I don't know. It's just bad. But here's what we've got here. There you can kind of see the different layers. And if I kind of shove this off to the side, I can pop out the little base plate for our blade button. And I have a feeling that if I tighten that up, that will fix our problems. Looks like a T6 again. Yep. Just give that a little tight in. All right, let's slap this bad boy back together. I'll tell you what, this is one of the most frustrating things ever, is when you... I mean, this should have been simple. Take out these 4 screws, have the knife apart, and then just slap it back together, right? This thing's not that complex. But the fact that that little screw there decided to be the world's worst screw, yeah, we were prevented from doing that. So we'll see if this fixes the problem. If it doesn't, I'm not going to fight with it anymore, because honestly I don't think this little tool is worth it. So I got this on sale for $12. These normally go for like $35. If I was someone who paid $35 for this, I'd be pretty upset. Not gonna lie, I would be pretty upset. I don't think that this is a good showing for that much, you know. Also, let's see. Okay, maybe we fixed the problem. I don't know though. Give all these one last turn. Stupid one right there. Okay, so yeah, ooh. Goodness. Maybe a little bit better. I don't know. I mean, it's still functioning. This was just a very awful disassembly. Gosh, what a... There's nothing like a bad knife disassembly to just ruin your day. Absolutely day ruined. And now I gotta go to work, put in a shift over there, and I'm just in a bad mood. Just in a bad mood because an inanimate object got the better of me. Very, very disappointing. Yeah. Interesting little tool. Obviously, we'll get to the rest of the review right now, but yeah. Disassembly, I think, would have been really, really easy if this thing just... I don't know. There it is. We tried. We tried, folks. So yeah, taking this knife apart was a pain. I never did get that one screw unstuck, and I started to strip it, so I decided I wasn't even going to bother. This button here, I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. Maybe if I were to tighten it down a little bit more, it would increase the lock strength. I don't know, but maybe then it wouldn't slide quite as nicely. But, you know, regardless. Next thing that's a big complaint with this knife is while I had it in pocket, and this did happen mostly when I had it in my 5th pocket, I would sometimes start deploying that blade a little bit in pocket. That's not good, right? That is definitely not good. It's a safety hazard. So I'm not a big fan of that at all. That is a huge oopsie. This is not me nitpicking. That is a very serious issue. So definitely keep that in mind. Next thing, I'm not sure why you would choose this knife over anything else, right? If you're looking for a 5th pocket carry or a non-locking knife, I mean, there are plenty of other options out there. So for me, I'm not sure that this necessarily fits into any category that I need filled for a pocket knife. And the next thing that I dislike is the price. This thing is like $30 to $35. I got mine on sale at a Tractor Supply for $12, and I thought that was a great deal. If the regular price on these was $12 to $15, I'd say, yeah, that's fine. $30 to $35? No, absolutely not. For the safety issues we talked about, for the maintenance issues that we talked about, I really don't think it's worth that. So, let's go ahead and go on to my final conclusions. What are my final conclusions? This is a very weird knife. And this is something that I would definitely say is more of a novelty and maybe a collection piece than an actual functional knife. It's not the best out there in terms of performance. It's fine. The blade is fine, but, you know, it's 8CR. By the way, This 8CR rusts on me. That's a problem I have with 8CR all the time. The performance is nothing spectacular. The legality issue, again, I'm not sure if this would count as a locking or non-locking knife, so if you're looking for something that's non-locking, this might not be for you. The issue with it deploying in pocket is a huge thing. So for me, I'm going to say pass on this knife. I don't think I can recommend this to anyone for any reason whatsoever, unless you just think it's neat and you just kind of want to have it in your collection. Then I guess, you're going to do what you're going to do. But for anyone else, yeah, pass on this. No one really needs this. So there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to my channel members at the cowboy level, Sharpen Blade, Old Tonto Guy, and Dave Goodridge. I really appreciate the support that you guys give to the channel. If you want to be a channel member, click the join button down below, get access to exclusive perks. When we hit 8 members, I will be doing a knife giveaway. So, incentivize. And the giveaways are open to members at any level. You don't have to be a specific tier or anything like that. But yeah, that's business out of the way. Thank you guys again so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, comment below, and subscribe. I've been Gideon, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.